What up, traders? What up, investors? What up, traders? This has been a pretty crazy day within the market. Again, really seeing it kind of, I wouldn't say coming out of nowhere, but really looking at just what we've kind of seen transpire really the first day of trading and how this would potentially play out. We've seen this kind of potentially play out before. We're talking about that really low level here on the S&P 500. We're going to be looking here at the futures. Currently, the futures are up just a hair, kind of like what they were doing last night. They were only up a very, very short amount. It's been and then it just continued to roll over throughout the day, with a little bit of strong recovery towards the end of the day, which we saw here. Kind of again looking here on in a 1 hour chart on the just what happened today. Basically looking for coming out of the gates here and just really selling off very steeply for the first nearly 3 to 4 hours of trading. And then towards the tail end of the afternoon, the later part of the afternoon, we got a little bit of a bump higher, and now kind of seeing a little bit to next to nothing currently in after hours trading. But with that looking forth, what could we expect tomorrow? Again, this is going to be a very heavy, like a news-driven cycle here due to the fact of the Georgia runoff. I believe President Trump right now is speaking in Georgia to kind of help the poll numbers or whatever. And I think a lot of people are just really just sitting on their hands and waiting to see which way it will swing, how things will play out. But this is, again, a very interesting time. Again, being the first trading day of the year, it really woke a lot of people up. I think maybe people got a little bit of thought it was just going to be a straight bull day. Again, I don't think a lot of people, no people could tell the future of the market, even the smaller time frames of this, but seeing this significant amount of selling right off the bat is a little bit scary, especially into the new year. Like, did everyone's New Year resolution was like, I'm going to go in and just be a bear this year and just sell everything. Talking about selling everything, let's talk about QS, like QuantumScape, the battery company that signed with Volkswagen and I think Toyota, developing their new solid state batteries to really be the next tier, the next technology within the industry. Coming in today and just decided to get like a 40% haircut. This stock was $138 less than a week ago, and over the decline of the last week, it has gone down dramatically. This is due to a lot of key factors. Again, the CEO said nothing has changed, but they did have an S-10 filing on some shares that are needing to get out of the company, I believe. Again, I'm not a lawyer and especially not a financial analyst on that point on that side, but there weren't any lockups, so there wasn't any like shares being sold in that sense. There was just some ongoing due diligence, which they've talked about. I just watched an interview with the CEO, and then I was trying to read more and understanding on what exactly happened, because I'm actually invested in this company, and it was not a fun day to be a trader or an investor within this company. Even though I'm still up on the position, it was not a pretty day to see it down this dramatically. Luckily, sold majority of it up here around 115 to 125, but this is still not a pretty sight to be seen. Initially looking here in the daily chart to potentially come down to $40, 40 to 43, and it can come down even down to 25. So this is something that we're going to be looking at very closely and see how this plays out. I want to short everything. That's very, very, very hard to do. If you want to do short everything, you'll best likely just buy SPY puts or QQQ puts. Yeah, it was a very difficult day because, again, I do terrible on shorting things because it really just kind of unleashes this little demon on my shoulder of like, hey, Ken, you made your profit, get out. Like, shorting, those reversals and shorts and those V-shaped recoveries are nightmares for me, so I just kind of stay away from it. Rivers has scary people, and Alabama saying Jack Ma is nowhere to be found this morning. Oh, Yeah, is that the Alibaba CEO? Is they're saying that without I don't think there's evidence, right, of him being locked up and potentially just like um, not being able seen. David Litt, what's up, my friend? Um, do I have Jack Ma at my house? Jack, you back there? No, he's not back there. If he would, I would have made him a nice dinner, and we would have had a nice conversation because I would love to pick his brain. Anywho, let's go ahead and look at Amazon. David's bringing up Amazon. Amazon, like talk about this stock. You just want to choke out. Just want to squeeze something. I don't want to squeeze my can. This is delicious. I have my fantastic Kirkland Signature Sparkling Water, a grapefruit flavor. Kirkland Sparkling Water. If you're out there on the internet, I would love to be sponsored. I'm a great guy, and I love this drink, so appreciate it. You email my people email you, and we will get a nice deal, Costco. Okay, if I can get Costco as a sponsorship, everything that'd be fantastic. I don't think Costco sponsors people, but that would be fantastic if Costco did. With that being said, with Amazon really just kind of hitting these levels up here, we talked about that 3,336. Guess what? It got rejected. It got smacked. It came right back down again due to a lot of the market selling off that we saw today, and really kind of bounced off potentially here on these really tied up noodles here. This is definitely something to keep an eye on. I love Amazon. I'm currently long Amazon as well. By long, I'm selling some premium, so I'm selling like the $3,000 puts. But that's basically what I'm looking at there. That being said, it can come back down to 3,000 without a doubt if the market continues to sell off. But I think hopefully once this election stuff gets behind us and we get somewhat clear answer, and then Trump leaves the building kind of sense, I think we could definitely get some more stagnant prices. Again, there's always going to be something around the corner that we don't know about, or something that other people are going to be stressing about, and Wall Street's always stressing and thinking of what could collapse the whole deck of cards and all kinds of things. So I think Amazon, I love it. I own it. It's just kind of very much a holding pattern, which you're going to see on quite a few stocks within my repertoire as of right now. Because you can look at Microsoft, it's doing the same thing. Nvidia had a huge move higher and then did next to nothing. It was just annoying, but yeah. PLTR will find Jack. That is so true. That Fuzzy Dice, isn't that their go-to thing? Sam Gold, love the last name. Please review SWI. It's turning into a present. SWI Solar. Oh yeah, this is the a company that got hacked, right? Yeah, this is not a purty one, as they say in the slap, and this is definitely this is going to take a while for these guys to recover here. I like this a lot, actually. So you make a good point here. I'm not a big fan of just buying the dip here in the sense of just taking some money and just throwing out the wall here. But it's pretty interesting to see. We just did a Fibonacci extension retracement here, and we just hit that level around $14.18. The only thing is I want to start seeing here is the 5 and 8 moving averages to stop pointing so aggressively down to the ground and kind of have these start curling up here a little bit, maybe building a base around that 1450 to 1420 range. As long as it can stay above that, I think this is could be a good candidate. You are, again, I don't know how this is going to affect on their earnings, because they have earnings coming out the 2nd of February. So be very mindful of that and put that into your trading or investing strategy. But yeah, this thing, it could level off here. But there again, there's a lot of open wounds right here, and the lemon's still being somewhat squeezed in those wounds, so it does still a little bit burn and spicy. But yeah, maybe a little bit like 10 or 20% of the initial position size could go into this. I like it. Thank you, my friend. I'm actually going to write that one down. I just added it to my watch list anyways, but yeah, thank you. Kale Boy says, do you think it will open higher or lower tomorrow? I have no idea. No idea. I want it to open higher, so hopefully it opens higher. Khalid, we did Amazon already. Mark 2004, Lucas. Yeah, let's look at NIO. NIO had a nice little large move up today. It literally just cleared this Fibonacci level that we were talked about yesterday in the live stream at $53.18. It closed at $53.49. So that trend is going higher. We saw the squeeze that we talked about as well on Sunday. It has fired long as well with the volume zone oscillator and the RSI continue to fly higher here. Initially looking to see this momentum continue potentially with the, again, run up into Friday, into really Monday, because I think the event is on a Saturday. So I think a lot of people could be holding through the weekend. That may be a little bit too risky on my end, because again, you're not going to be able to get in and out after hours. That could be cause a lot of problems. But the next level we're going to be looking for, if it wants to continue going higher, is its all-time high at $57.20. But if that really continues, the real target is $62 to $68 if this trend wants to continue, even though it has seen some really kind of a negative transpire here. A lot of folks are just super hype train about this stock, and it's just been continue to really rip higher here. Tesla, yeah, let's look at Tesla. Of course, Tesla hitting all-time highs today. What a pretty day for Tesla. We talked about it, continue going higher here. Initially looking for, again, I know it sounds crazy, $863 is the next level of any substantial resistance on my charts. We are still holding that 5 and 8 moving averages, trying to grind higher. Huge boost on numbers, on nearly hitting that $500,000 cars delivered. That's a pretty substantial amount. I know people are like, well, GM and Ford do that every 3 to 4 months. I'm like, yeah, but they don't. Not everyone's like, oh, I need the Tesla. It's got the self-driving feature and all these things. Like, they don't have, I don't know if it's like I wouldn't call it the same marketing behind it. It doesn't have the same kind of cult behind it on the way Tesla's really trying to change the world. Like, Ford's been around for 100 years and they make great cars, but they're not making YouTube videos and showing off their brand new candy paint job they had on their Tesla. Yeah, I know there's people who love Mustangs and their Ford trucks, fantastic cars, but that same like love and enthusiasm that we see with Tesla doesn't really exist in Ford in my eyes. All right, looks like a lot of folks are joining in. I thank you everyone for coming out. Let's go into, looks like V is asking for Apple. Yeah, Apple had a pretty large move back today with the overall market. I like this move back. It was just honestly a buying opportunity for myself. It came into right to the 21 EMA. It has not broken past. Again, it did break past intraday, but it didn't close below the 21 EMA. If we start closing really below $25 on my charts and the way I'm trading it, then it's going to be potentially a problem in the sense of I have to cut back or roll out my options. This being said, this could just be a little bump in the road, who knows, unless we get substantial selling throughout the rest of the week. Again, first initial support to the downside is around 125, but looking for this trend to kind of continue here, and if it does, we're still looking for that all-time high around 138.80. So yeah, that's Apple for that in a nutshell. Fairless says, hey Ken, I bought into PSTH a while back at $25.90 common shares. Do you think it would be a great time to sell and then re-enter? No. For my standpoint, I would say no. From my opinion, because once you sell something, it's sometimes very hard to get back in because you're just going to really try to nickel and dime it. Just from the way my brain works and my experiences, and you're just really going to have to pay taxes on that because it's capital gains. And it's rather build up. Like, if you're going to stay in it long term, like, unless you need that capital right now for something else, like, Don't let me stop you. Fuzzy Dice, I've been shorting PLTR for 2 weeks straight. I'm not gonna stop until I lose cash. Awesome. Love you. NIO to 100. We'll see about that. Let's see here. LNDM, yes, the old lemonade stand. Oh, why isn't it typing? There we go. LM and D. Of course, this one has been very volatile as well. We had a huge move higher towards the end of 2020. Now kind of hitting a wall here around 128 to 130. Again, with the overall market really seeing a little bit of pullback here, potentially looking for some initial support to the short-term side around 110, even down to 105. Some longer dated support around 96 to 95, but this can come all the way back down to 76. If you're a little bit more longer-term mindset, it can come back down to the 50-day. So be very careful on that because it has reached that 128, which was a key level we had for 2020. If that really breaks, you're going to be looking for some higher prices around 150, even down up to 180. But that's going to be somewhat of a stretch where we're currently sitting at. Tony Robinson's NNDM, sure. NO and DM, just like with the overall market, a lot of those speculative stocks, for whatever reasons, just got sold off today. People wanted to free up cash. They wanted to take profit. I don't know what the reason was, but that trend still looking strong. We have some short-dated support around $8, down to $7, down to $6, and then down to around $5.50. But we're still looking for that longer-dated target around $11.42. Earl G, what's up, my friend? Happy New Year's to you as well. Thoughts on Okta, which I love. I love my Okta. Great product. Looking for this to potentially hold here. You saw it come down to that 34 EMA multiple times in the past. We saw it here, and basically here. It closed slightly in that 250-ish range, just ever so slightly. The trend is still somewhat intact. In the short term, again, this can come back down to around 240, and that trend still be somewhat okay in the longer term, depending on if you're day trading it or really just swing trading it for like 2 or 3 weeks. This could potentially trade sideways or get a little bit of chop going, because if we get the 5 and 8 crossing through the 21 EMA, we could get that chop going, even coming back down to some lower prices. Really looking forward to kind of, if the positive momentum can continue, stay above 250 and look for some targets above 265-ish range. DLX as well. Interesting play. I don't know what this company does. I never heard of it. Maybe I have, but I have not done fibs on it. Key level we're going to be looking for is basically trying to get break above 30. We've seen it fail here, and here. So 3 times, maybe 4 times. 4th time is a charm, and really see a potential breakout higher here. But very cognizant about the potential support around $26 to $25 to the downside. Happy New Year's to you as well, Plato. Thank you, my friend. Hope all is well. Yeah, BNGO made some absolutely crazy moves, so be very careful on that one again. Even though people think it's going to go to the moon, which again, I'm not here to tell it's not going to go to the moon. I'm just being very mindful of being informative of what the company does and then what the stock does. Sometimes, BNGO, come on. It could be 2 different things. Again, it's up 133% as of today. After hours trading, it's coming down a little bit. It's back down to 625, 626. So it's something very, very interesting to really play this out. With that being said, the correlation between what the company's doing and what the stock is doing is sometimes not the most relative, and you have to be very careful with when you're coming into terms and trading around those 2 philosophies, especially with this insane amount of volume coming into this this day, and really seeing this tear a really new hole for the longs here. Again, we're talking about just a couple days ago, we traded nearly 805 million shares. And then really coming back the last 2 days, around half a 550 to 640 million shares traded in the day. That's pretty insane for any stock, especially being a stock that has this amount of magnitude. So be very careful on this one. Again, 549, $4.34, and even down to 278 are some key levels to the downside there. Plato, I haven't looked at IPOC, but yeah, I'm a little scared. Usually, my friend David made a pretty interesting thing of like saying IPOC could be pulling back even more due to the fact of once it does get the merger and everything underway. Usually, like we saw with Open, things really just kind of tanked going into that trade here. Really seeing it kind of trade lower here, and it really took potentially a couple more days to kind of level off here. I'm looking for Open to kind of hold and stay above 2150 at least, and really hoping for the 5 and 8 moving averages to kind of bounce back off here and kind of continue going higher from there. Hold on, I'm getting some texts here. Oh, 1 second, my buddy's texting me. Let's put my iPhone on the charger there. Sometimes the wireless charger doesn't work. So yeah, IPOC, just be a little bit careful out there. I've already kind of gotten out of IPOC and really focused on other the IPODs and so forth down the line. Kale Boy, what stock would you go all in tomorrow if you had to? That's a little bit of a trick question. It would probably be Tesla. I don't know if it's going to go up tomorrow, but that's just, if you had to put a gun to my head or whatever, I would choose Tesla. What's your Twitter handle, Sam? I don't think I think I have it linked in my bio, but please, don't follow me. I don't post anything on Twitter, honestly. So yeah. Oh, Plato, you got into the BNGO at 50 cents. Wow, God bless you. Awesome. Khalid asking for Square. Let's look at Square. I haven't looked at that one for a while. By a while, I mean I haven't looked at it since yesterday. But this is looking interesting because it's kind of coming into some that range we talked about, that 21 to 34 EMA, really considering somewhat of a buy zone. Even though with some crazy market moves that we saw today, it held up really well. So I'm very proud of Square. So we can give a little pat on the back for Square and a little clap and a little applaud on really seeing it hold off here and really selling here. I like it here due to the fact of it's holding the 21 EMA. I think it's a great company, a great stock in that sense. I love what they're trying to do in the payment stuff. I love a little bit more PayPal. That being said, that came down to the 21 EMA almost to the T as well, and now kind of bouncing off here, potentially still looking for that 250 play there within those two companies. Tesla it is. But that I was telling you that, Kale Boy, just be to insinuate if it would be a longer term investor. What's up, Trevor? How you been? How you been? Thank you for joining, my friend. Thank you. I thank you. Appreciate the great content. Yes, thank you. I tried my best. CURI, Plato's saying. CURI. Wow, that had a nice jump today. Very interesting play. Is this like a SPAC as well? This must have been a SPAC. Okay. That's interesting. I'm going to write that one down. That's an interesting one. Was it CURI? Looking for this one potentially. That's up 17% today already. Wow. Again, looking at the SPAC, who's leading it, and things like that really kind of comes down to on who they're merging with too, right, Plato? It's an online streaming of educational and documentary videos. Really? Like, and it's jumping up that much? It's just interesting. Campbell, I hope that's not related to the Campbell Soup Company. CLVR. Yeah, this is again, this has been beaten up. I don't even know why this is crazy. This has really got beaten up. What happened here? I think this is I saw this one trading substantially lower. Like, okay, I thought it made some of a bounce back. This is not looking good at all. This is not a well-run SPAC for whatever reason, and people are just really kind of upset about it and just kind of giving it back. This is a very strange play there, without a doubt. And then ICPT. Yeah, another pharmaceutical company, and it's kind of trending lower. I hate to say this, but I just, these pharmaceutical companies are a little bit too risky for my cup of tea. You had a huge gap down here, most likely due to some kind of failed trial or some bad news, and just continues to trend lower, and not really seeing any kind of bottoming out pattern or even kind of holding any kind of base here. So I'm a little bit hesitant and a little bit scared to touch that. So be very careful on that one. Dark, thank you for the $2. I appreciate that. Thoughts on GHIV? That's a SPAC, right? Yeah, this one, I own this one in my Tastyworks account. This is definitely I think I just voted on it, right? I had a vote on the board members. I had a vote on a couple things for the proxy. And I think I voted whatever the board told me to do. With that being said, I think it could go higher. I forget this sounds terrible. This is how many SPAC investments that I have. This is something on how these have been riding up. I know this is on the early onsets of the merger, but with that SPAC news, with the SPAC news going out, if it stays above that $12.71, I think that could kind of hold here. But again, as of today, it's going to be very hard to kind of judge all these SPACs because a lot of panic was set in the market, and that panic spread to each little nook and cranny of the market. Some got hit worse more than others, and people were just selling anything to free up cash, to open up other positions, all kinds of things. But I think I have to remember what is this one? What is this one merging with? This hasn't merged with. No, this is the one that was doing the insurance company, right? Is this the one that was doing the insurance? I think this was the insurance one. I'm getting this one confused with someone else. But yeah, I like this and I still own it, so. Thank you for the $2 though. I really do appreciate it. I didn't have to do that. Let's see here. Sorry, chat's moving here. Someone just asked about Workhorse. Yeah, Workhorse. Workhorse. It's been like a workhorse. It's just kind of been somewhat of a steady Eddie, a little even Stevens here, and just kind of just trading sideways here around that $20 range. Even though we saw these really heavy, aggressive moves up and down and these very emotional waves here, we are kind of finding somewhat of a base here. I actually kind of like this setup here, even though it's kind of been somewhat beat up. It has a little bit of negative mentality on it. I think it could be somewhat of a sleeper, as they can call it, and it could potentially explode higher here. It does have a squeeze setting up here on the daily side. It also has a squeeze starting here on the weekly side, which we saw previously here around this $3 range here multiple weeks ago. I think a lot of folks are really just waiting on that postal deal, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna even speculate on that. That's not even in the wheelhouse. I think a lot of people are. I won't say all the hands have been shaken out, but I think a lot of hands have been shaken out due to again that huge move higher. We saw that move basically from $3 all the way up to $30, and really kind of came back down to 16, 15 bucks, and kind of made some of the aggressive moves that we're seeing here in the charts. Initially looking for it to hold around 20, but it can come back down to 18.50, and that trend will be somewhat still intact. It does have, again, just kind of just like a negative distinctive trade on it because, again, a lot of people have got hurt by it, and the 5 and 8 moving average is below 21 EMA. So not the world's greatest investment. It's a little bit more speculative and risky. Someone just said, Ariel, you in the chat? Oh, it's real estate. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Dark. I feel terrible messing that up. NGA. What is that? That sounds familiar. Oh wow, that's really popping today, eh? That's another fantastic SPAC that's taking off here and just doing fantastic things. Yeah, that is an interesting SPAC there. Hitting the overbought sign on the volumes on oscillator and RSI, but that doesn't mean anything because, again, that trend has been pretty strong here. We saw, again, if the SPAC does pretty well, you can see it hold between the 5 and 8 moving averages and even come down potentially to 21. Some short-term support coming in here will be anywhere from 17.86 to around $17, and then substantial support around 16.24 to around 15.15. The reason why I give these wide ranges is because it's a SPAC. Like there isn't any revenue. There's any kind of thing we're looking at here. These are just human emotional channels that we're looking at here, and we could potentially see some moving going on there. Let's see here. There we go. Let's see. Thoughts on my trash stocks, aka PLTR. Yeah, I think PLTR got thrown out with the kitchen sink as well with a lot of other stocks today. It is kind of a little bit of a scary place. If they find Jack Ma, like Wall Street Bets is hoping for, I think we could get some positive news for PLTR, and that could rocket up maybe to $100. Just joking. But that 5 and 8 moving through, which I think we talked about Williams, we talked about it yesterday on the live stream. If it doesn't stay above that $24, we could see it come back down to 21. The candle shows a lot of volume that was, or a lot of price that was moved throughout the day. I'm a little bit scared here due to the fact that the 5 and 8 are crossing over. It has closed below the 34 EMA, so the $21.20 to around $20 even could potentially come into play if we get substantial selling in the overall broader market. Even if we get a lift off in the overall market, PLTR could just be an outlier and continue to kind of sell off here because we do have a squeeze setting up, and it looks like it potentially could fire short to the downside. So being ready and prepped for potentially some lower prices around $21 to $18.30. So be very careful out there because you saw multiple times having substantial amount of issues on breaking out above 28 to 24. Mohammed, look at NOVN. What's it? NOVN. Penny stock, and I can't comment on it, but I'm always scared when a lot of people posting a lot of penny stocks. Yeah, it's gonna be a very difficult one to look at because again, this is the pharmaceutical company. Because again, this looks like it very much is riding up on a lot of volume and momentum here. It's not really my wheelhouse. Brian stuff. We talked about BNGO. We talked about maybe potential some support around 550. We saw in after hours trading that it's trading a little bit lower. Again, I was being very careful on stating that the conversation piece between the stock and then the company itself doing business is two different like ways to look at the thing. Like looking at the long term of things, the company looks like it's doing great things, but having such a large move in the stock and all the FOMO behind it and all the momentum that has really driven it up. We talked about last night on the live stream here of hitting $8.68. It got up to $7.25 basically, and now kind of pulling back here and after hours trading here. But that being said, we're the next initial support to the downside is going to be around $5.46, then $4.34, $3.47, $2.78, $2.24, $1.86, $1.49, and then back down to $1. To the upside, we talked about $8.86. If that breaks, we're looking for $13.89. That's all I can really give on BNGO. It's very much a day trading FOMO, high capitulation parabolic stock, and just be very careful to keep your pants and helmet and seatbelt on at all times. GGG Investor says, can we do a big C? They call me the big, no, I'm just big, why is my keyboard not working today? Big C, ugh, yeah. I think this is coming down to the lovely news that we're seeing with Alibaba on a lot of these really mixed bag of things happening within the Chinese market. You're seeing some things just completely sell off, some things are going substantially higher, and just really seeing a divergence in between these different stocks, especially with Big C. It just continue making it made an all-time low here, looking like it could potentially. I'm not saying there's no sign of recovery here, but there is no base building. The way I trade, I wanted to kind of level off a little bit and not see these very large red candles here, and that's usually something that I really can't be looking at to the long side. Kate says CTRM. Okay, I can't touch that with a 10-foot pole. I'm sorry, my friend. BIOL. Is that another penny stock? Yeah, this is a little bit of, be very careful with these penny stocks. It's usually not the wheelhouse because, again, I trade a lot of options, and a lot of these penny OTC stocks don't trade options. So. Lucas, I do have a Discord actually. I think it's a mixed bag. So I think people are still somewhat bearish on NI or PLTR. What's up? Oh, where did you just go? David S. Yes. What a day with what a day. Plato says, "Don't be scared of penny stocks. Just get ready to lose it all." I don't like to lose. That's why I love options. What's up, Wesley? You want to look at snow? Let's look at snow. I haven't looked at that one for a minute. See how that's what's going on. What's crack-a-lacking over there in the snowflake? Wowzers. This is definitely this is crazy. Like, again, if you remember, Snowflake was the IPO of the year. It was going to be fantastic. It's had a crazy run here to that $430. Now continue to selling off here. Looking for maybe some support around $276, basically down to 270 initially, Wesley, to looking for that movement here between the 144 to the 200 EMAs here. So those are going to be some key levels that we're going to be looking at to potentially look at some support here. But that being said, with the overall market really kind of giving a lot back, we're seeing it kind of a moving averages pointing aggressively down. I want to be a little bit hesitant on just buying this straight out and maybe waiting for to kind of level off here, because we are seeing that 5 and 8 crossing through, and actually starting to cross through the 50-day. So that's a little bit more a negative play as well. Joe, thank you for the $4.99. I appreciate that. How about MTNB? MTNB. Okay, we got it's a little bit higher than a penny. It's $1.75. Looking at, let's just do a fib here. So I am not trying to say and point my nose up and give you the old stuck-up face for penny stocks. I traded penny stocks for probably 9 to almost 18 months, way back when, in like 2012 to 2014-ish time frame, and I did terrible at it. It was somewhat of my like weird diversions in trading, where I wasn't I was really YOLOing a lot of things and just putting in like 25-30% of my account into one position, sometimes putting it all in one position, and really learning the hard way of like, hey, that's not a great way to invest. And at the same time, learning a lot about how I trade and how I look at the market. And penny stocks were just moving too fast. I wasn't too quick on the keyboard. Even 10 years ago, I was having issues on the keyboard due to my dyslexia, but and it just moves too fast for me. With that being said, the thing I do like about penny stocks, at times, they do really follow Fibonacci retracements. And you can see that here from the daily chart here, from the swing high to swing low. It is hitting the $1.82 nearly to the T here. If we look at this, we're going to hit the high of $1.82. It hit that key Fibonacci number at 78.6 percentile move at $1.82. If that wants to break higher, we need to break that. Initial support to the downside is going to be looking for $1.53, which is a very key level. Another key level of support here is going to be coming down to the 38.2 percentile move, which will be falling in at $1.14. And then potentially, if we do get a rip higher, the overall target could be potentially above 2 and looking for $2.64. So thank you again, my friend, for the $5. You didn't have to do that. And hopefully that was helpful on your journey on trading there. David, yeah, so QS had a no way else to put it. They had a shit show today. Everyone everyone maybe was in a coma and figured out like, oh wait, it's gonna take QuantumScape how many years to get this battery up and running, and it's gonna take them 5 years, 4 years, 3 years. Like we don't got time for that. And I think there was like some kind of like S10 filing about some shares that needed to be brought back, but that was already in the works. Oops, my bad. What did I just do here? That was already in the works. They said even when they were in the SPAC phase, there aren't any lockups as of yet, but this stock just literally got obliterated today and really got its face ripped off. Initially looking to the short-term side, we can see it coming back down all the way to around $41 to $42. And I can actually see it go a little bit lower depending on how the market goes, so forth. Yeah. Kumar, I think that's okay with that Tesla call. So looking here at the Tesla side of things, I'm not a fan at all. So of buying an option that is just so close to expiring. If you're playing the full-on just like day trade in it, go for it. But I had to be fully honest with you. It's a little bit too risky for my appetite here. Because again, there is a lot of open interest at that price and a lot of volume that was just traded today. Again, hitting all-time highs. It was doing fantastic. The overall move still for the week is $43, and we're sitting at 730 here, 733 in after-hours market. So it could have happened. Yes, it definitely could happen. The options, the money market makers are saying 750 is still in the deck of cards. Basically up to 760 is somewhat still in the cards, even up to 765 to 770, because you can really see the percentage drop off here, because you can start seeing these options right here. The theta decay is going to be kicking in and slapping them around right now, and they're having somewhat of a nightmare holding those options. Not saying you can't make money in them, but those are very that theta decay is really going to be ramping up very aggressively here on those Tesla calls going out. Would rather be in some longer dated options. If you're, again, just kind of sharing what I do for trading, I usually like to go at least 35 to 45 days out. So I'll be looking at like the February timeframes. I know that seems a little bit more expensive, but that's just how I trade. But you can make that a call spread and different things like that to kind of fit your trading mentality. Again, if you're a weekly options trader and you trade on a daily time frame or on a really short time frame, go for it. That's just not my cup of tea. So just be a little bit careful out there. Joe, you're welcome, and thank you again for the $5. QS is a scam, says John. I don't know. Like, I haven't looked into it in the great deal of the fundamental stuff because they haven't really had too much of an earnings yet. Flush and ticker. This is interesting. I need to call my buddy Ariel here after the thing here. See if he picks up or ping. I'm gonna text him. It's a little bit late where he is. It's in the morning, I think. So check SBE. So again, this is the switchback acquisition thing, the charging stuff. This as well has sold off substantially here with a pretty large gap down. That large move that we saw, again, I'm not saying all the EVs, but a lot of stuff did get hit today due to the fact of just market moves and coming down. Again, it didn't break below the 34 MA, but it did break the parabolic SAR dot move. So we could be seeing this to around that 34, potentially even to 32 would be the next level of kind of holding here. But that being said, this can easily come back down to the mid 25. So unless we get some kind of a bounce back here to above 45. So again, very aggressive, very speculative trades. Again, none of these stocks that we've talked about for the last like 20-30 minutes have any kind of earnings behind it, and people are just looking at PowerPoints, looking at their filings for the companies, and that's basically it. There's just so much premium added and taken away from stocks that could potentially be huge $400 or $500 stocks down the road. Who knows, right? Kumar, thank you for understanding it. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. And if you need anything, you can ping me in Discord without a doubt, and I can kind of show you some things that I could be looking at. And David, you asked about how the implied volatility. I kind of went off on that. Like, applied volatility just went like skyrocketed due to the fact of that the stock has just really taken it higher here, which is surprisingly, applied volatility is not that high here. It has been higher before, but with that large market move down, we could definitely see the IV kind of kick up from there. Can we look at, sorry, the chat's moving again really pretty fast here. Thank you, folks, for coming out. Let's see. Can we do Disney? Yes. Disney. This is like my forever stock. Looking at the daily chart, for me, I can see this definitely coming back down to maybe again it had a pretty large candlestick today. It got all the way down to around 175, 174. It can come back down to 173 in the short term, and this would be just fine. But in the longer term, it can come back down to even down to 153. So 153 is still a level which was its initial gap up higher on the amount of subscribers they had, all of the new Star Wars like side spin-offs they're doing from the Disney Plus streaming service, and as well as the Marvel stuff that's coming out, and really them just having the some of the best IPs and just the best content available. I think even comparing, I think Netflix makes great shows, but a lot of them are hit and miss as well. But like Disney, they got some large things. They got Pixar, okay. They got Star Wars. They got Marvel. Like they got billions of dollars being able to make unlimited content within the Star Wars universe or the Marvel universe, all kinds of things. So I think they have a lot of potential going on there. I think a lot of people are looking at that, and a lot of the parks are still at lower capacity. The cruise lines are not even running. I understand. There's movie theaters aren't opening up because again, no one can watch a new movie. This is insane here, like insane, and they're doing fantastic in the sense of running up higher. We talked about BNGO. I don't have to talk too much about that again. Um, can we please do FUBO, see possible 2230-ish? Let's see here. That's from the GG Investor. FUBO. 22, yeah, 2211 I have for the next level of support to the downside. Yeah, this is again, when a stock has these crazy like explosions of moves, that it was a huge rocket ship up, but now it's like a rocket ship that ran out of gas, and it's now really coming lower here. A little bit concerned. You're seeing the 5 and 8 crossing through the 21 EMA, which is the yellow line here. Excuse me, crossing through that, and these very large gap down days and red candles is not a very healthy prognosis on the sense of getting some life back into the stock. So be very careful in this one. It's somewhat of a technical term of a falling knife. If you've ever dropped a knife in the kitchen or wherever else, you don't try to catch it because you're not gonna be able to catch it. You're gonna get cut on your fingers or your palm. So that was basically the metaphor. So don't get cut. Yeah, look at CHE. This is one that has come up quite a bit here. Again, it's only up 215% today. Why couldn't it be up 250? Those bastards. Let's see here. Again, this is what is coming down again with these penny stocks. The only reason I kind of somewhat look at them now is because they follow Fibonacci retracements fairly well. Really had issues breaking above 150. We're seeing it in after hours trading up nearly 240. So where's 240 at? That is its previous high on the daily chart. Looking for some potential targets around $2.94 upwards to $3.68 coming in tomorrow, if that can continue to kick higher from there. NIO, people are saying, sure. Let me take a sippy sip. Again, if anyone knows Costco, I don't think Costco does sponsorships, but I would love to be sponsored by Costco. I use all their products. So if there's any Costco representatives out there, email me, dyslexicinvestor@gmail, and your boy will sign basically any kind of sponsorship with Costco because I love your shit. Anywho, NIO. Really large move today. I think this is going to be, we talked about this towards the beginning of the move, in the beginning of the live stream, that NIO is running up because that FOMO. There's a lot of people buying in because they're like, it's going to be the next Tesla of China. Their CEO wasn't kidnapped by the Chinese government. They're having a new platform of maybe building out a sedan. They have a cool recharging stuff stations of removing the batteries completely from your car and putting them back in. Like, there's a lot of different components that are going for this company. With this moves higher, we're looking for potentially to test 57.20 potentially coming in this week. The market makers, what are they expecting for this week? They're looking for basically another $5 potentially. So that would kind of put it up to that 57 to nearly the $60 range, which we have seen potential some price targets coming out this week. So to that side, and then to the downside, we're looking potentially some support around $47 to $45 in the short term. Fuzzy Dice as ice. I don't know what ice is. Harry Wingate says FSR. Fisker, yeah. I think a lot of these SPACs, early stage companies, these very early stage companies, just got really thrown out with the bathwater today, and people were a little bit more panicking, and just really just kind of selling off here. We're seeing somewhat of some support around that 1490 to around 1550 range. But that being said, this can come back down to 1363 and even down to around the mid 12 range, and the trend would be, it's just a very choppy chart. We did see a very large extension higher here around the $20 range, but then kind of giving it somewhat all back. That being said, this is too choppy for me. This potentially could be a nice set of just selling some very premium on the puts or call sides, though, because the premium is very high, very, very high. Do you think the mining companies continue to move higher with the dollar situation? What do you mean by the mining companies? You mean like the Bitcoin mining companies, or are you talking about the gold and the precious metal mining companies? FSRV. FSRV. Interesting. A huge move higher as this one as well. Like, this is pretty much, I need to write myself a note real fast. This is pretty insane move, coming right down to the 21 EMA again. We'll see on how this one plays out. Again, I have no idea what this SPAC is. There's just too many SPACs. They need to make some kind of like an encyclopedia and kind of break down on a daily basis on what SPAC's going public, what SPAC is merging, what SPAC is still out there doing nothing and just holding at $10. But yeah, this looks pretty good. It had a huge move higher. As long as it stays above the 21 to 34 EMA, that trend looks higher. That's all I really can say about a SPAC. Silver and gold, Drew. So full, I own GLD, and then I own, oh shoot, what's the gold miners? Oh shoot, what's GoGo doing? I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. Oh, those bastards. GLD and GLV. No, what the hell is that gold company? GLD. Hold on, I need to look something up real fast. I apologize. 1 second, folks. GDX. That's what it is. GDX. That's what I have. So gold miners, I actually own a little bit of this as well. I I think it can go higher. But I've been in it for some time. I've been in for the last, like, I think a couple weeks. So kind of bought it in towards the beginning of December. Kind of held through this like really sideways action. Yeah, GDX. Thank you, Mary Lynn Griffin. That's a wonderful name. With that being said, I do like it trading sideways around 36. Finally had that move higher coming in today, nearly up 7% at one point at 37.95. I think this could easily hit 40 potentially if we get the same kind of market moves that we have been seeing here. But yeah, this is definitely a very interesting market that we're looking at currently within the miners. Again, not really following the official like rules of like, hey, if the market crashes, gold goes higher, because gold's been not doing very fantastic and been somewhat of a disconnect from the overall market. Because again, gold with I actually like GLD a little bit better. Why isn't that writing here? I like GLD substantially better just because it's looking like potentially 183. If it does get any kind of momentum and break through that, I think we can break up to 190 and try to test that all-time high. That being said, we could just kind of fail here at the $183 and kind of start rolling back over. So not throwing again the whole account at this, but it just had to be somewhat mindful and looking at that situation there before going completely ham on it, as they say, and really seeing it kick higher for whatever reason. Yes, I do like Square, as long as it stays above like 215 to 210. Yeah. And David Miles says NVDA. Yeah, I was talking to GTFO, one of the folks within our Discord, and I was like, it's finally moving. It's finally moving. It was moving for the first hour and then gave it all right back. It went from 518 to 5, went up $20. Even at one point, it went up to another $120 and then gave it all right back. I love it. Welcome to trading. That's a way to get your face kicked in really fast. I do like that it had that really large capitulation move here, and we did break the parabolic SAR dots even with this crazy long intraday candlestick. But it still doesn't have a quite of a indication where it wants to go. It's still staying between that 515 to around that 542, basically what we saw the move today price range, and has not really been able to get out of those two ranges. So it's really holding a holding pattern and waiting to see how it breaks out. Thermal Arlington BTBT. I just, my gosh, this is crazy. I was just talking to my friend about this as well. This is an insane move, right? Like, this is absolutely insane. A $5 stock going up to $33. Like, that doesn't happen every day. Very much, this is like a Bitcoin one. I think this is the company that owns like a Bitcoin miners in China and US. A very speculative play, a very speculative play. A penny stock, no earnings, no. It's like basically a pink slip here. I need to be super careful with this. This is a very much a middle finger kind of situation where you can get really hurt on these particular plays here. Goldfire, the moon to the moon. Goldfire, two of the moons is AMC. Oh, those poor movie theaters. I love going to my movie theaters. Just continue to selling off here, breaking near its low here. So $1.95 is basically its low that happened in the sense of the again, this is way back when, and what is this, February? Oh no, February, March timeframe with that low hit. It's literally hitting at that level. So it's basically AMC, all those, God bless them, is not is kind of knocking on heaven's door in the sense of might have to put a fork in it soon. This is a little bit scary here. Again, if we get some kind of news about a stimulus play or something like that, and they actually get a huge chunk of that, this thing could easily rocket higher past 3 to 350. But as of right now, I don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. RMO, did we just do that one? Wow. That sold off pretty hard today too. Holy moly. Um, Again, large red candles down, never a fun thing to have unless you're shorting it. But 99.9% of the time I'm long things. This is not a fun thing to see, especially looking for the potentially the 5 and 8 to cross over. Initial support coming in around 1738 to 1568 to the downside. Those would be the next like kind of potential levels here. That's also kind of lines up with some previous breakout trends and support lines there as well. Yeah, BT, like most of the penny stocks or pink slips don't have options. Can you please list the indicators and studies you used? Yeah, so I am. It's a work in progress. I am working on. I'm working on a video that incorporates the chart setup and then kind of like a thinkorswim tutorial to help people out in that spectrum of that. Ryan, a lot of people are saying Ryan again. That's again really much tied to like Bitcoin as well in the blockchain. Not saying this is a like one-to-one comparison of like, oh, if Bitcoin goes up, Riot's going to go up. I think people kind of believe in that correlation, and I think people believing in something could really make things come to fruition. So I know that seems a little bit deep here, but I think that's what's kind of happening here with again these lot of like sympathy plays. Even though I don't think people honestly know what they're doing in the sense of this really aggressive FOMO move within Bitcoin. That Bitcoin move is insane. Like I'm a little bit afraid. Full disclosure, like that thing can come right back down easily and just really just smack a lot of people in the face. With that being said, we're going to be looking for some short-term support around $15.25, and then even down to $12.64 to be any kind of potentially some support to those levels there. BL, actually, I like that one. BILI. This thing has been a absolutely monster stock here and just continue to hold the 5 and 8 moving averages, kind of finding somewhat of a base here around $90 to $92. Looking for this to potentially try to break 100. I always kind of like stocks that are at that level. And trying to break into those new territories. With that being said, I'm a little bit hesitant on, again, it was up 10% just today, so that's a pretty impressive move here. It has made somewhat of a small cup and handle here. If we can hold around that $92 range, maybe accumulate some more, that push to 100. Once something breaks for the very first time through 100, it's like magical. Like it usually runs past 100, and that FOMO and that fear of missing out and just those scalpers and day traders come in, and that can just really ramp up the price to basically 110 to 115. The next real key target in the Fibonacci tree is going to be looking around $125. So be very careful on this one. Short-term downside support is going to be coming in around 86, and then around $80, and then around $70 to the downside. Oh, right, folks. I saw PAA. Yes, that was one that moved. I saw that come up on some of my scanners here. Very interesting. Maybe I'm not thinking of this one. Interesting. I'm a little hesitant on this stock because it has been very much in a downtrend, even kind of before the pandemic, and it's kind of this is on the weekly chart now, and just kind of looking and just kind of continuously being sloppy and sloping down here, kind of maybe finding a base here around $8, but we are seeing coming in today selling off a little bit. We do have a squeeze indicating here. We have the 5 and 8 kind of crossing through the 21 EMA. So if this doesn't hold around the $8 range, we could see some really strong selling and kind of a break come through here, and see it break down to below 750 or below. Let's see here. Amazon and Alphabet, please. Yeah, great. We did Amazon. Amazon's just really kind of just trading sideways. Google. So I'm going to do Google Class A shares. I kind of like this a little bit better, honestly, than the Amazon, just in the fact that it has had somewhat of a stronger recovery and the kind of breaking out here more than Amazon has. I think Amazon's still somewhat in the hibernation sleeper mode here. That's definitely looking for some bottoming here for Google. If it starts breaking below 1700, we're going to be definitely looking for like 1650 to basically $1,600 if we do get some continuous selling into those levels. With that being said, if it holds these levels around 17-ish and above, we're really looking for that target to potentially break out above 18 with our sights set for 2K for Google. I think, again, long run, I think Google can do it. In the short term, it could be choppy again due to a lot of the stuff that's going on in the overall market. Let's see here. SKLZ, Kathy Wood effectively could pump it. Yeah, that's the thing with ARK being so transparent. I think a lot of folks just get their nightly emails or look at what they're owning in their portfolio, and it just can really just jump the stocks. I think we could definitely see that with Skulls, whatever this is, really potentially kind of moving higher here. I kind of like it, to be quite honest, even though without Kathy buying it. This is something that could kind of stay above 1750, maybe build a base here and kind of try it and break out back above 20. But if we start breaking below that 1760 to 1750, it could be hasta la vista, baby, and coming back down to $15 plus or $15 minus there as well. Flipping chart, what's up, my friend? Thank you for joining. Thank you. You're looking for GNOG. Yeah, so that's the golden nugget, right? Yeah, that was not a pretty day there, was it? And really a lot of selling going through here, but it hit pretty hard off that 50-day here. So that red dotted line here is the 50 SMA, which is the simple moving average here, basically around 1780, kind of bounced off here a little bit. Looking for it to kind of hold and stay above 1878 to 1850. again, somewhat of a falling knife here. Need to be very careful, not want to step in front of the freight train here. But if we do get some kind of a overall market reversal coming in tomorrow into maybe next week, I think this definitely could be a great play again, due to the fact of really playing the reopening of everything in the U.S. economy. Again, a lot of people are going to be wanting to go out and party, and what's the best place to party is Las Vegas. So yeah, I like it long term. You might just see in the short term, the next couple weeks to months, just a lot of chop. But yeah. You're welcome, Chris. No problem, my friend. Again, just ping me and I'll do my very best to help you as much as I can. SF SFT. Uh, a little bit. Is this an acquisition? Swift Technologies company. This looks like a SPAC. I'm a little bit. The movement that we're seeing here is very choppy. It does have a squeeze set in place. The previous squeeze has fired short, so that doesn't mean that this one has to fire short. But I'd like to see it back above $10, just because that is the 200 EMA, which I like to see it play out at that level. But it's a speculative play since it's somewhat of a SPAC, and that's what I would be kind of chalking it up to at these levels. FLIR. Yeah, I saw that one move today. That was a nice move, crazy move today. Yeah, so this one we talked about, I think, on the live stream before. So $51.82, it's closed above that. A very key level for the Fibonacci tree. If it can stay above at least $52 to $50, and kind of build a base here, the next target or next move higher would be looking for $60 plus. But if that doesn't hold and we get some kind of reversal in the stock or whatever else, we can see that back down to 45, and even lower from that. Now, Kathy Wood is definitely a hot commodity, yes. It's an auto e-commerce. Oh, interesting. Jason Smith, thanks for the technicals. So many channels only look at the recent news and price movement after the fact. Appreciate your approach. No problem, Jason. Like I'm just trying to do my best here and try to inform people on how I look at the markets and how I trade it. It's not just reading the news. And I honestly, my philosophy is the price moves and then the news happens, because I can't just listen to the news unless they're talking about the detailed numbers from the earnings report. That's the only time I'm really heavy, especially with earnings season coming out soon. It helps me listen to the numbers and things like that rather than to me reading the report. Because of my dyslexia, it's difficult to read through all the transcripts. So I like to listen to the audio or listen to SMID bits from the earnings call. So the fundamental stuff is still very important in the news related stuff, but it's not something like the headlines of like, should you buy QuantumScape now since it's down 40%? Like, I don't know if there's going to be offering too much of a visibility into that article, because most of it is I already know why it could. I don't really care why it's down. I'm more or less looking at more of the technical side of why it's there. A lot of people asking for Tattooed Chef. So TTFC, we talked about that one last night as well. Really coming in to see some levels here. Want to see it above $24.60. So full disclosure, Costco fanboy here, and we go to Costco quite often here. Again, if Costco wants to sponsor me, please do. But that being said, so Tattoo Chef is actually a pretty large part of their frozen vegetable section. They have their cauliflower, they have their cauliflower rice blend, they have their broccoli in there, and they have a color like an odd like a what else they have, like a carrot mix that I saw is there well. But the only thing is, the only kicker there is, um, each time I go to that area to do my due diligence and just look at that particular section in the freezer section, I always see stuff there, and I never see a lot of their bags in other people's carts. So I had some Tattoo Chef broccoli tonight. It tasted good. It really was. It was fantastic. It's organic. It's fresh. Well, it's frozen fresh, so it's flash frozen. Really good. Just put it a little bit of oil, salt, and pepper. Put the vegetables on a nice low to medium heat. I'm sorry, medium to high heat on a cast iron, and get a nice little char on it. Fantastico. Fantastic stuff. I'm gonna start a cooking channel, just an FYI. I'm just joking. If I get sponsored by Costco, I'm creating a cooking channel. Let's see here. Okay, sorry, I'm messing up. I should be answering the charts. So with Tattoo Chef, we're looking for 2460 to potentially be that next, or that's basically have been somewhat of a wall of resistance here. If we cannot break above that, we could be coming back down to 2143. 2143. Wasn't that a Battlefield game? Battlefield 2143. Holy moly, I remember this game. Who played this game? Was it 2143? 2142. Shoot. It was 2142. That was 2143. Anyway, that was a fantastic game. I always played the support or the sniper because you can go fully cloak yourself, and it was fantastic. Anyways, I'm getting too much of a side note here. Let's look at some of the questions here. Cooking with stocks, heck yeah. I think Tattoo Chef could potentially to get some higher prices here, but I'm a little bit hesitant on it. I'm not just saying I'm gonna not buy the stock because of the Costco that I go to, people aren't buying it. It could just come down to the staff that just stocks the shelves extremely fast. Ben Zingin said, how often do you go live? Do you share your time and knowledge with us? Thank you for sharing your time and knowledge with us. I only go live maybe at least once a week, which is normally on Sundays. But I like doing this a little bit more because I get to interact with the folks rather than kind of just talking about a random stock or some options activity that I saw throughout the day. I might do a combination of both, maybe going live maybe 2, 3, 4 days a week in the evenings, and then maybe doing some longer, more heavy production videos on the sense of breaking down some complicating stock prices and different various options plays. So a lot of stuff that is kind of perusing around in my head that I want to do for the channel. Oh, 1943. That's what I'm thinking about. Yeah. DMC 8282 check in the morning. Yeah. Yeah, this one, I don't know. Like this, I'm getting BNGO feelings on this one. I'm having like a little bit of PTSD on that one. John saying thoughts on PACB. That is science. Yeah. Okay. So this one was basically like a BNGO many months ago and has really taken off here. This thing has been coming back down to basically a buy zone around 23 to around $21, aka if it kind of closes in between the 21 to 34 EMA and is kind of playing out with that. But that is a very aggressive looking chart. Yeah, so a lot of people are asking about the check. So CHEK, is this still a play? Again, if this, it's looking like it's breaking out to all-time highs on the daily chart here, and really seeing potentially $3 to $3.68. I think that could be easily reached. Like again, the reason I talked about BNGO, these movements that we're looking at here, this is definitely a very strong move up to potentially even $5.80. So. Again, I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, especially with these penny aggressive momentum stocks. no one knows how to play, but a lot of them do follow the Fibonacci tree level, so be mindful of that. Ken, do you use the wheel strategy? What the thoughts on that strategy? I don't use the wheel strategy. My thoughts on it, if I understand, let me the wheel strategy and options. Because it's basically like selling covered calls, if I'm correct. Like I don't really do much covered calls. Um, my portfolio is mostly broken down into very heavy growth stocks in my short-term trading account. In my long-term account, you have everything from Disney, Tesla, uh, Johnson and Johnson, Waste Management, and kind of like some boring companies. Let's see here. Drew says, if I had a call that goes in your favor, a good bit you will sell a call above the current price and collect the rundown of some of these stocks. Basically, it's like covered calls, the way I understand it, right? Planet 13, that's the marijuana stock, right? Um, I usually have like if I'm fully so for example, I'll give you a complete example. I'm pretty heavy in pins right now. No, I'm like heavy in pins where it's like almost 15% of my portfolio, which is pretty bullish in my case. But I have various different strategies and campaigns on it. I have longer dated leap calls on it directly. I have some short dated call spreads on it, and I'm selling puts on it. So I can't get pretty much any more bullish on pins here, but it's definitely if it does break below 64 to 65, I have to be very careful in trimming some of those positions back pretty substantially. Oh, it's selling puts. Okay, I'm not familiar with the wheel strategy. I do love selling puts though. Ken, I almost bought AMD today. DMC 82. Yeah, I love AMD. The one that like AMD, like Nvidia, those chip stocks really had that really strange candle coming out where they were really substantially up very early on in the trading day and then gave it right all back. The one that I like the most, I love my AMD, but I also love TSM. TSM is one that has just been fantastic to me, and it's just been a great trade for the like last couple months, and it's been fantastico. And really just kind of just continue riding this trend higher, looking for 120 to 130 to be the next price targets. But yeah. Planet 13, I don't even know what the ticker symbol for Planet 13 is, but yeah. Um, bu- 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 what is your thought process on buying leaps? Um, I have to be very bullish on the stock, and I normally buy leaps that, again, a leap is at least a year out for me. Um, that is something that I would be very careful about. So, um, and I like to buy something, for example, like TSM. I own leaps in this. I look for something that is within the expected move. I'm not going to be buying something like for example like Tesla. Um, Again, these options are going to be pretty insane prices here, like with like a Tesla. But for example, if I wanted to buy some leaps in Tesla, I'm not going to be buying like the $1,400 call. The expected move, the options makers are saying into next January of 2022 is basically, let's just call it $575. The stock's currently trading at, let's say, it's 5. So that would potentially put it up to that $1,400 range. But that's very aggressive. I would rather be somewhat closer to being in the money or very close at the money when I'm buying options, especially even with leaps. And I want to be buying a leap that has a pretty nice open interest as well, because I don't want to be the only one trading that leap. I want to have some kind of a chance to get some kind of liquidity out of the stock there as well. So if that makes sense on the leap side. Evan, yeah, you did talk about Walmart, right? We talked about Walmart yesterday in the live stream. I believe that was you. Yeah, we talked about it. I said I own Walmart. It's above 142. It's doing just fine. It had a nice move higher today, up nearly 2% here. That's fantastic for the old Walmart. The momentum's kind of changing here and looking like it wants to kick higher here. Closed above the 200 EMA. I think if we get the 5 and 8 crossing over the 21 EMA, we could get some higher prices around the 150 to 151 price targets there. You have the $115, $50. You got to be careful with that. That's a very short time frame. You're playing with like 11 days out. And the 150 is the expected. It's within somewhat the expected move, but it's on the tail end. That theta decay is going to be kicking off pretty fast, so that theta decay will bleed that option pretty substantially. We do see a lot of open interest there. When does this have earnings coming out? This has earnings soon, maybe not. Anything can happen. I think that's a little bit too aggressive for the way I trade. I would be going out to February to March to play that kind of call like that. Thoughts on Play? I haven't looked at Play in a while. How's that thing going? With potentially, yeah, down nearly 10% today. Look at that. Came down exactly to the parabolic SER dots and that previous fib number, which is its 50% retracement from the swing high to swing low. If this wants to continue to sell off, we're going to be looking for some movements below 25, even down to the $21 to $22 range. Yeah, flipping. Yes. So a delta of about 0.7 to 0.75 plus is ideal for most trades that I do. But if it's part of an overall package campaign for the stock, and I'm holding it for over 6 months to maybe even a year, like we're talking about with pins, I could buy something slightly out of the money. But yes, in theory, you want it somewhat deeper in the money to really get that movement in. Because, for example, if you're buying something very deep in the money, like the plus 90 plus delta, you're basically almost owning the stock at that point. But when I do these very aggressive campaigns, I'm doing multiple strategies on that. So it's not just like one thing that's going to outline everything. That long leap is potentially just maybe 10 to 15% of the play. Sue, thank you for coming to my back. Big C, please, and thank you. Thank you for using your manners. Big C, I think we just talked about this one as well on this live stream. Not looking very pretty here. Hitting an all-time low. I think this is, again, it's a Chinese play. I'm very careful with these kind of. I'm really actually doing more looking up on where the company actually is from, because that whole stuff with Alibaba is not looking too well and looking too shabby and doesn't really sit well with me. And I really don't. I like to sleep at night, and I don't want to worry about if my company is going to be shut down or the CEO is going to be kidnapped. With that being said, Big C could continue going lower. It's hitting an all-time low here as of today. We can kind of maybe potentially look at this retracement here. So we do this to that. Some levels that we could be looking at is around 49, let's call it $50 to the downside support. It has broken past that 63.37, but $40 to $26 is also a level. But again, a little bit extreme. I don't know on how this is well compared. It's a newer IPO stock. It only has quarters for the. It only has had 2 quarters. We'll see on how this one plays out in the next coming weeks or months. Flipping Charts, thanks for all the thorough and through answers. You have the best channel. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Big C is based out of Texas. Oh, is it? Okay, I thought it was a Chinese company. Are you sure Big C is a... Its headquarters is in Texas. Maybe I'm getting confused with another stock here. This is an IT service management company? Okay, I'm thinking of something else. Anyways, the stock, no matter what it's doing here, this is a little bit of a strange pattern, looking like it potentially could bleed lower here. That again, like that's Johnny Bravo. What's up, my friend? I see the title of the stream of what's going on here. I think, yeah, I think people are really getting ready for a blue sweep, and they say we won't know for certainty until the numbers are completely in. But that being said, we could see some. The market right now, the S&P 500 is down a little bit here on the future side. I believe Trump was talking somewhere in Georgia. I don't know exactly where in Georgia, but he was talking around 9 or 9:15 this evening, a couple hours ago, on really getting people out to the polls, and God knows what else he was talking about. But looking for really just kind of keying on some investing ideas on what could happen, of like Johnny Bravo said, is basically looking comparing, if the Senate's lost, in the sense of it goes to Democrats, then they basically own the House and the Senate and the White House, and basically the stock market and the folks on Wall Street and the investors really don't like one party either or to have complete control. We kind of want somewhat of the words that you hear kind of snooping around, somewhat of a little bit of a gridlock, where it's very hard to pass, and a lot of stuff has to be bipartisans, and it takes a little bit more effort to kind of potentially pass things unless you have the whole same viewpoint on having the same party amongst all of the developing stages of passing stuff. So, oh, Flipping Charts, thank you for the $5, my friend. Where can I just join your Discord channel? Where can I see the Tastyworks small account trades? So I don't really post those. Those are for the members, but I will be actually changing that as well, and I'm going to be going into more of more of a breakdown of the trades that I'm looking at, of trade ideas. Cowboy, can you show us a stock pattern you like? Um, what was I looking at today that I like? What kind of pattern do I like? Let's see here. One second. There was something today. So I love this right here. I love Logitech. I love any stock that's continued to grind higher here, and really looking for just continuous momentum in the sense of just continue to trend higher here. This is one of my favorite stocks, or one of my favorite patterns to see, and just really holding above the 21 EMA. The only thing is, if it starts breaking below the 21 EMA, it can sell off pretty fast, like we saw here with Logitech selling off for 3 or 4 days, then trying to getting back on the trend, breaking out on earnings, giving it back, breaking lower again, and coming back down to some trading sideways and just continue to grind higher here. That being said, I can't put a time on it, but I think there's going to be a point where it's going to break below 21 EMA, and it'll be a nice opportunity there as well. Yeah, flipping charts. Are you not in the Discord? Let me whip that up real fast. Hang on. And anyone's more than welcome, but just flipping charts. If you tell me what your name is, I can add you into the members group. So like I pinged that just in the channel there, so you can more freely to look at that. That'd be like Venezuela. I hope not. Let's see here. Gamestop is another stock that is an interesting one to look at. If people are saying it's going to the moon, was down nearly 10% today. But again, it's coming down almost exactly to the 21 EMA and the parabolic SAR. If it wants to continue to sell off, we're going to be looking for some continuous movement to around 15 to 1469 if we want to see continuous selling off here. That being said, I'm a little bit hesitant to jump on this one because, again, this is considered somewhat of I believe, a FOMO trade, and I'm a little bit hesitant because it has been somewhat bought up with all the Wall Street Bets folks. Mac list is saying BA is going to 200. No, sorry, I mean 300. Yeah, BA really trades with a lot of the jets. So if we look at the ticker symbol JETS, which is the airline industry ETF, it's kind of been like trading sideways and just kind of maybe looking at what's like a rollover here, with again being down nearly 3 or 4% due to the fact of that. BA has a larger component than just being a commercial business. It sells to the government for a lot of various things as well. Initially looking for some support around the $200 level. Nice round number. It's hitting the 200 EMA here. It can come back down to, again, to the 195 as well, and it still be somewhat okay for the trend. In the long run, in the short run, it's kind of breaking apart because, again, we have the 5 and 8 crossing through the 21 EMA. It's below the 34 EMA on the daily chart. So in the short term, it's a little bit messy. But if we look at a weekly chart, that's why we have that 200 or 195 to 196 range potentially marked as an alert. If it does bounce off that, we could see a nice little recovery and kind of some base building in around that range. LMD will grow. Yeah, I like Lemonade. I think it will grow as well, but I think it's really in a very tight place as well. ZOM, never heard of that one. I was gonna say that it was Zoom, but it's Zoom is ZM. Oh yeah, I'm not touching that. Penny stock, too much. Sorry. S-Fix, I love. So I'm a user of Stitch Fix and I love it. But that being said, I think sadly it has fell prey to being put into the pandemic work from home watch list for a lot of folks. And with the rollout of vaccines and potentially things opening up towards the spring to summertime, hopefully, once we get the herd mentality under control and stuff like that, and really acclimated to a lot of things. That 5 and 8 crossing through the 21, we could see some downside support around $51 to $52, um, potentially even bouncing off around the $54 to $55 range. But that being said, that it's been going down for the past week here pretty aggressively, some large red candles, and really no signs of in the short term slowing down. What we mean by that is the 5 and 8s are pointing pretty straight to the ground here, which again is the white and purple line are pointing down pretty heavily. We want to kind of see those start leveling off here a little bit and kind of finding some ground there and stop sinking lower here. TTD I saw. Ooh, wow. What the hell happened there? Holy moly. Whoa. I didn't know this happened. This is nasty. That is terrible looking for TTD. Wow, I didn't know this happened. I must have had alert here because I was almost in this stock. Very aggressive move again, just like we talked about. This is really just got thrown out with the kitchen sink and into the bath water here. The 5 and 8 aggressively crossing through the 21 EMA. It is closed below the 50-day as well. That's never a good sign, unless we get a crazy V-shaped recovery, which we've seen before with this stock. But yeah, this is not looking too pretty. On the weekly chart, yeah, we have some downward support around $720, which is a fib number and kind of coming into the 21 EMA as well. But wow, I didn't know this happened at TTD. I feel that sucks. I like that for a while. But BEEM. That's a lot. Someone's spamming that. BEEM. Wow. Look at this. It came down literally to the 21 EMA, gave it a kiss, and then just took off to the much higher level here. That's insane. That's a lot of volume traded in a day. Again, just like the overall market really just came out selling, somewhat of a recovery around that 130-ish time frame and just kind of moved somewhat higher here. This is an interesting one. Without a doubt, this would have been a great buying opportunity around the 21 EMA if you had an alert at that level. For some reason, it wasn't there. But yeah, 21 EMA to 34 EMA is going to be your downward support. But there has been some damage done due to the sell-off. And again, that could potentially have opened up the door for some weak hands. And we'll have to definitely see on how tomorrow is reacted to the stock here. ES is dumping. I want to say it's dumping yet there. Who was that? Evan? A dump would be, for my case, a little bit substantial, but don't really like the current setup that we have. Really looking for that hold around 3650 on the daily chart here. And really looking for it to at least stay above 30 or excuse me, above 3600 there as well. But your long UVXY, yeah, a lot of people bought puts on the QQQs, they bought on SPY, and a lot of people went long, like VIX ETFs. But let's see here. Let's see here. I'll do a couple more and then I want to call it a night. I'm getting pretty tired here. SPLK, yeah, that's actually, I was looking at that one. That's Splunk, right? Really kind of giving somewhat of it back, even though it kind of came up here. Somewhat of, I don't like to use the word dead cat bounce, but this has been a very interesting. Let me get rid of that one real fast. Yeah, really failed here, trying to get above any kind of key level, somewhat of a dead cat bounce, what they call, and kind of giving it all back with some aggressive downward move. The damage has been done. We're potentially looking for around 160 to potentially hold, which we saw previously. So yeah, I'm a little bit hesitant on that. And it really didn't have the staying power to really stay above the 186 to 190 to kind of break out from there. Someone talked about steel, which is X. You can kind of see that that has been an interesting play between X, Freeport McMoran, I believe that's how you pronounce it. These look pretty interesting plays. With Steel here, United States Steel Corporation, holding that 21 EMA. We did get a break higher to the parabolic SER dots. Looking for this potentially to try to test at least the higher 18s into 19 potentially, with the key goal to potentially hit that $21 plus. Because again, if you look here on the weekly chart, this thing has been nothing but a downward action in the last coming years, even with the Trump administration on how they are promoting US-based companies. Poor U.S. Steel just has not been able to really turn around and really benefactor from this. Let's see here. Let's do one more IDEX. Okay, that kind of falls into like that penny stock range. Oh. IDEX. This one looks interesting. Looks like it wants to potentially kind of hold here around that $2 range, which again, this thing has had enormous crazy kind of moves higher and just kind of coming right back down. Looking for some sideways action around holding at least two. Some breakouts would need to be start breaking above 230, 240 to around 277. Downside support would be initially around 178 to 156. I'm going to do some rapid fire here. Now we're going to go into AMD. AMD, love my AMD. Looking to kind of see it hold above 90 and really try to see that target a break above 100 in the short term there. So yeah, let's see here. Then I saw LI. Of course, this one as well has been a pretty strong recovery thanks to NIO as well, with a break of the parabolic SER dots. If we do get the 5 and 8 moving averages to break through the 21 EMA, we could see some levels around $36 to $40, but downside support going to be around 28 and then back down to around $25 there. FRSX. Nothing really much to say here. This is a pretty interesting trade here as well, with a huge movement higher within volume and potentially some kind of momentum trade here. Initially looking for some support around $3.50, even down to $3, but really strong support coming down to $1.90. KTOS. Interesting move. This was strong, coming down to potentially some support around 20 to 25 is even, but that trend looking fairly strong. If long as it stays above the 21, even to the 34, that trend's still intact, potentially trying to test 30. What platform is this, MP? This is Thinkorswim. EQOS. EQ, that better not be a penny stock. Okay, it's not. Okay. This is interesting. Very interesting play. Nice move higher, continue to grind between that 5 and 8 moving averages. Really hard to kind of give any price targets on it here. Really looking for $20 plus here if we do get that very large moves that we saw intraday here, but that continuous momentum to the upside there as well. Theranos is FLL. Interesting play here as well. Full House Resort. Oh, that's interesting. Is this a casino stock? Key level, we can stay above $3.67. We could be looking for some targets around $4.58 to the upside, but it has been holding the 21 to 34 EMA fairly well on the daily charts. PLTR, I saw that. Yeah, we talk about PLTR. Looking at PLTR, wanting this to stay above $21. It's looking like it wants to potentially going lower with the 5 and 8 crossing through the 21 EMA and the volume kind of petering out here. I think maybe people just losing a little bit of attention on it. But this thing, if it doesn't stay above that 24-ish range, that $21 could be coming into that into its range. Oh, is it 3 eyes in there? Former merger corporation. Yeah, it's a SPAC, so it's kind of the same play in the sense of like, golly gee willikers. A lot of these SPACs like to run up to 15 and then run up to 20, so that $20 is definitely the target in the sense that usually some support coming around $12.60, following the 21 EMA, continue going higher. Let's see here. OCGN. Yeah, that's insane. God bless. If you bought into that, you're a lucky person. DMTK. Interesting. Wow. Whoa. What the hell happened here? Crazy move higher. Look at all these middle finger. Holy moly. This breaks my rule of the middle finger volume bar. This is insane. In the short term, looking for some support around 27 to 27 even, and then back down to $21 initially around the 21 EMA. But this looking like it wants to continuing higher, potentially trying to test its all-time high or trying to break out to its all-time high above 40. Could NIO open at 60? NIO can do almost anything it wants on whatever the stock is. That being said, 60 could be in the cards, but the options market is saying a move of only $5 this week, and that's a little bit of a stretch at that range. But again, with momentum and crazy FOMO, they could easily potentially hit 60 this week. DM Gamer YouTube, Mr. Ken, you're talking to me? I really want to learn about the stocks. Do you have a link that you teach? No, I do the live streams. I want to potentially set up maybe like a weekly live stream to maybe do more of the educational side and looking at how to pick trades, how to pick options, and things like that. Just kind of stay tuned for that. There's a lot of things going around in my head that I want to do. The last thing I want to do is charge money for a lot of this stuff, because again, it is a time on my end to do these things like that. But I think even though if I help out a couple people, I think it's worth it. But I don't know. I haven't fully thought of that, but there's a lot of things I'm moving around. But just stay tuned. I promise you, I'll start doing some things around that. Tony says, when am I going live again? I don't know. It all comes down to how I feel and how I do things. What do I mean by those middle fingers? The middle fingers is the volume bars on the bottom. Usually the first knuckle, the middle finger, and then the second knuckle is basically something that could show some consolidation or somewhat of a sell-off, indicating it's a very heavy FOMO trade. Mm-mm. All right. Mm. Would you explain the Fibonacci that you used? Yeah. Again, I've been working on a video that kind of breaks down my charting and how I use the charts, and it's definitely something that's going to be coming into there as well. What would happen if someone bought half 500 million volume of NIO? What do you mean by that? That someone has to have a pretty large bank account to that. DNM Gamer, no problem. You have a wonderful evening as well, my friend. We did LI. LI is looking like it wants to break out with somewhat of a sympathy play into the movement that we're seeing with NIO. All right, folks. Maybe going live sometime this week as well. Maybe just doing something in the sense of maybe doing an educational piece for like an hour or something in live stream. Maybe coming this week. Um, Someone says Zoom. I have to talk about Zoom. Okay, Zoom Head and Shoulders. I made a video many weeks ago, maybe longer than that, about the potential Head and Shoulders pattern that we saw. I think way back here. Maybe that wasn't that far ago, was it? I don't remember. Um, with that being said, I think Zoom is definitely somewhat of a not I don't know. It's hard for me. I don't short a lot of things. I think someone asked me the last time I shorted something with a lot, not just like shorting something by selling calls or buying a put. I was pretty aggressively shorting Nikola at the $57 range to $60 range. Um, when this last move came out and it kind of did that bounce but never got back above the 21 EMA, I actually did go short it pretty heavily and then caught that huge gap down, took maybe 80% off the table, and then the next day maybe another 10 from that, or so another 10 from the total, and then basically just took the rest off just because I didn't know if it was going to be do a crazy reversal if it once it hit the 144 or the 200 EMA. And that was my last short that I did. Again, that was many months ago, nearly 6 months ago that I did that. I have to have a lot of conviction behind it. Anyways, on that note, folks, I am so sorry. I have to go get some shut eye. I'm gonna get some beauty sleep. It's 11:30 here in the East Coast. Got to get up pretty early to do some work for my main job. But again, check out the Discord and so forth. And I will be planning to go live and trying to making some kind of educational piece in the sense of understanding the charts and maybe the indicators, and then we'll do another piece talking about finding trades with scans and all this kind of stuff. Again, like I talked about, I'm really working on trying to get a lot of stuff on paper and kind of get things flushed out to make sure everything works well and people actually want to watch it. Like, don't get me wrong, I've been streaming for a while in the sense of many months ago where I was just streaming with a couple people watching, but now we have 200 people today watching at one time. It's pretty remarkable, and I would like to answer everyone's questions, but the thing moves so fast. But anyways, that being said, guys, what do I do? I'm an IT sysadmin. Anyways, I love everyone out there. Thank you for joining. I really do appreciate it and the ongoing support. Um, you guys have a fantastic night, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.